pleasure to be back after the Bein Hazmanim with you, and I hope it's Hashem that we will have a wonderful Zman together. And thank you all for making the real ishtadlus to be on time. And Baruch Hashem, we have a wonderful kollel, and as they say, it's chus of my wife, Lecha Hasholem Malka. That's why it's near Malka, and she certainly benefits from the wonderful learning that goes on in our kollel. Parshas Brachos spans a period of more than 1,556 years. So the period of time of Adam himself is 930 years. And the Parsha itself refers to Noah and the fact that Noah had his children, Shem, Ham, V'Yafes. When Adam HaRishon died in the year 930, Noah had not been born yet. And there was a span of 126 years that was that between Adam HaRishon and Noah. Noah was born in the year 1056. And 500 years later, he has his children, Shem, Ham, and Yafes, in the year 1556. That's why I say our Parsha deals with a little bit more than 1,556 years. Now, Parshas Noah. So, Ela told us Noah. So we have Noah's beginning, and Noah lives to be 950 years. Now, during that 950 years, we understand that the Mabul was in the year 1656, and Noah was 600 years old. When he dies, 350 years later, he died. That's 10 years after the Dor HaFlaga. The Dor HaFlaga occurred in the year 1996. Now, interesting that Avram Avinu, at the time of the Dor HaFlaga, was 48 years old. And one of the Meforshim says that when Noah was Nifter, Abraham was Noah. When Noah was Nifter, Abraham was Noah. What does that mean? Noah is Nun Ches, 58. So when Noah was Nifter, Abraham was 58 years old. Now the interesting part is this, that 17 years later, when our Parsha begins, that of Hashem says, Lecha Abraham is 75 years old. That means that from the time from the Petira of Noah till Lech Lecha is 17 years. People don't necessarily get that juxtaposition, but it's very interesting that there's a 17 years after Noah is Nifter, Hashem is speaking to Abraham Avinu and is telling Lech Lecha. Interesting. Okay. Rabbeinu Bachai says, getting on to the Parsha itself, Lech Lecha, Lashon Lichluch. Lichluch is dirt. It's the type of dirt that a person doesn't necessarily feel. It's like sometimes I look at my jacket and I see, how did I get this on the jacket? But that's what happens. And Meforshim speak in terms of a person walks into the spice shop, the Chanus of Bosim, or a Borsky, or the tannery, and the odor permeates the place and it gets on to a person. So that's the lichluch. Says the Kadosh Baruch Hu, Avram Avinu, you, who was Avram Ivri, the whole world is on one side and Avram is on the other side, but you have to go. Because if you stay where you are, it's going to be a problem. Like the Rambam says in Perek Vav of Hilchos Deis, the minhag ha'olam is that a person is nimshach after his sviva. The Rambam goes so far to say that a person, of course, has to be careful who he associates with, and of course, that's for us to understand what we do. But even to the extent that a person, if he can't help himself and he can't leave, because sometimes people leave where they're living because it's not the right sviva, go into the desert, go into caves, but don't stay with bad company. So Avraham Avinu, who is so strong, he's told by Kadosh Baruch Hu, you have to go. And we've mentioned before at times, the Chofetz Chaim says that sviva is like wine. That person goes and he looks, in a group, and he knows he doesn't belong there, but he's going to stay there for a little while. And just like when a person drinks wine, 1 cup, 2 cup, 3, 4, the rest, you can try it. You can do it on Purim sometimes. And after a while, a person starts, to really feel the effect, but it takes time. Sviva is like that too. It takes time, more time than wine, but the fact is, it makes an impression on a person. It's like wine. And therefore, Avraham Avinu was told, you have to leave too. And so he did, following Kadosh Baruch Hu's direction. Lecha mi'aretzecha mi'larecha. That's the way it is. Now, the message to us is clear. Kal v'chomer to someone else. Let's skip quickly to the end of this parsha. This parsha is interesting. I wanted to make this point, and I didn't make it yet. The fact is, our parsha in Lecha begins when Avram is 75, and it stops. It ends at age 99. So you can imagine, it's like a train. There was Parshas and Noah are going year and year. All of a sudden, we come to Parshas Lecha. 24 years. Like, whoa, what a joke. After traveling for 1,000 years plus, and then got 900 years plus, and all of a sudden, 24 years. And it's like the first Rashi in Parshas Vayeshev. When things are not so important as such, and it's like the background, so things, they're not, Kadosh Baruch Hu doesn't necessarily speak about, the Torah doesn't give any lengthy explanations. But when something dear and special, like a pearl, like a margolius, is found, then the Kadosh Baruch Hu starts to speak about it as such. And therefore, that's what happens in Parshas Lech Lecha as such. Now, the end of the Parsha is Milah. When we speak of the Gemara in Megillah, that Yud Zayin Amud Beis says that the 8th bracha in davening is Refoeinu. Why Refoeinu? Why the 8th? Because of Bris Milah. Says the Sifsei Chaim, but there are other Yisurim, there are other illnesses that need refuah. So why are we taking only Milah? We're saying it's the 8th bracha because of Milah. Yeah, but what about everything else that Refoeinu is for? That certainly has nothing to do with number 8. So he says that Chazal, when they wanted to speak in terms of a refuah for Yisurim, wanted to use the Yisurim of a mitzvah, not Stam Yisurim. Okay, and it goes on everything. Someone once tied it. Why are you only davening for Rofei Chole Amo Yisrael? The Jews are supposed to care for other people. So why only Rofei Amo Yisrael? It's a tiny from the Haskalah, or a tiny from the non-Jewish world, whatever it may be. Oh, no, 1 second. Asher Yotzer has Rofei Chole, Rofei Chol Basor Umafli Lasos. Okay, fine, but Chazakash Laduchter, how come he is Rofei Chole Amo Yisrael? But when you see it's going on Bris Milah, that's not a problem as such. Let me say a mention about the Indian of Refuah. How much time do we have? 2 minutes? How much time in Refuah? Interesting thing. The Rabbeinu Bechai says the following. When we're talking about Refuah from Hashem, most often the pei, it's either a pei or a fei, a soft fei is used. Rapo is going to say is Rofei Cholei Amo Yisrael, Refoeinu Hashem. Okay, when it deals with Mikan Yesh Rishus La Rofei Lerapos, it's a pay with a dogish. Says Rabbeinu Bechai, all of those refuahs that have to do with a human doctor is a strong pay instead of a fei. When it comes mostly with the Kadosh Baruch Hu, it's Refuah, says Yirmiyahu, Refueni Hashem ve'erafeh. Please let me be. What's the chiluk? Why is one soft and the other is a dogish, a harder sound pain? And it is, because says because doctors often have to use difficult interventions. They have to make an operation. They have to use medication, which can be very difficult. Chemotherapy, radiotherapy. Mashen can Kadosh Baruch Hu. He can make something that is without pain. There's a remission if it's something bad or something just goes away. Whatever it is, therefore it's without pain. That's a Kadosh Baruch Hu. It's not a pit. Why is he called a rofe instead of a rope? We're reminding him, listen, be as gentle as you can be. Be as careful as you can be. And remember, you're a Kadosh Baruch Hu shliach. You're not on your own. Another chilik is the fact that what a Kadosh Baruch Hu does, no relapses. No, the person doesn't have any problem. Mashenke, a physician, a human being, it can come back. Whatever Kadosh Baruch Hu does remains forever. That's why the best thing would be to say, you should have a refuah shalema min hashamayim. That's the way it can work. Guten Shabbos.